I am sick and tired of Iceberg videos. What started out as a genuinely good idea has now become the internet's dumping ground anytime someone learns a slightly noteworthy fact about a topic. And I get it, we all like to sound like we're smart, right? But given that most of their entries either have no source to back up their info, or is the same joke of every insert topic here is personalized, you come to realize how lame this trend has become. And I know that's really rich coming from a guy like me who made a Grubhub video. But in my defense, I made that like 2 days before it became a meme. Not saying I was like the ringleader for all that, but you gotta admit there was some causation. My point is, now that Iceberg videos have become the newest tuba trend, people will find the most ridiculous topics to make one about just cause they know it'll get them views. And you know why I know that? It's because someone made one about me. I know, what are the odds? This was made by a child in my Discord server named Greg to get my attention after I bitched about icebergs in VC once. He's already made 2 videos discussing them on his own channel, but I thought it would be pretty meta to be known as the guy who made an iceberg video about himself. For convenience sake, I've decided to combine both of the icebergs while also cutting them down to avoid saying the same joke 15 times. Anyways, let's dive in and see what personal information I accidentally told my fans. Family Guy video. This theory stems from my every episode of Family Guy video where I act out an overly generalized version of a modern episode of Family Guy. It got some views, but the funniest part about it was the comments section. It's literally made up of 2 groups. Those who think they're smart by unironically watching overly long video essays about why Family Guy is bad, and those who make the joke that I'm not allowed to upload full episodes of Family Guy onto YouTube. Clearly, we have a house divided amongst itself. But I will say one thing. This comment still makes me laugh. Gourune's not funny. So let me get this straight. You don't think it's funny when I do something like harass my friends in a fake interview or play Among Us with a bunch of children. Tuh. Yeah, okay. It's not that I don't accept your criticism. You just don't have much ground to judge, given you've never made a cover band video that only 3 people enjoyed. Wide Sean. If you've been in my presence for more than 5 minutes, you've probably seen this picture before. The infamous Wide Sean. To make a long story short, I trapped my friend Sean in an internet file like in Luigi's Mansion. It's really funny because even though he's a still picture, he's fully conscious and always in a state of pain because his body grows wider every time I show it to someone. So for the sake of Sean's misery, please laugh anytime I show this to you. Sounds like. Every single day, I'm bombarded with people telling me I sound like someone else. In fact, I've made a little list for this exact occasion. Some examples include Markiplier, Swagger Souls, Plankton, Uncle Al, Germa, Bren Daniels, Filthy Frank, and Joe. So essentially all of Patrick Warburton's characters. I know it's hard to believe that I'm an actual human being and not some mascot created by an evil organization, but there's 7 billion people on the planet. It's inevitable for some losers on the internet to sound alike. My biggest fan. This is a question I've been asked a lot over the years. Who is Gourune's biggest fan? Well, obviously it's not Greg, because that wouldn't be satisfying. Nah, the answer is actually much more surprising. It is none other than Matt Damon. Every day I hear this dude quote, "Did you know Penguin's on his way to work?" And it's flattering, don't get me wrong, but if I'm gonna be honest, it's getting pretty obsessive. This dude will literally confront me on the street and beg to collab. And every time he does, I always just tell him,
"Oh, sorry, I need to be in the right headspace to make a video with someone."
"Listen, Matthew, I love you, but please leave me alone." Plays guitar. Had beef with Irate Gamer. No, that's not true. Irate Gamer had beef with me. He'll do this all the time, I swear to God. He'll misconstrue the facts just because he's afraid of confrontation. Let me tell you what really went down. This all started about 2 years ago when I went to a Puddle of Mud concert. Not by choice, mind you. It was just kind of where the night brought me. So they start their set by playing Control, and you know, the only logical thing to do there is to start a pit. I run up to the nearest guy and slam into him. He falls to the ground instantly, like a dead fish, and obviously that starts to rile everybody up. But before I'm able to join in on all the fun, I see it was none other than Chris Bors, the irate gamer. So you know, he starts yelling at me for pushing him down, but it was kinda his fault by going into the pit in the first place. Like, dude, sorry I spilled your apple juice, but you either go into the pit knowing you're gonna get pushed around, or stand in the back and watch the show from afar. Don't try and pull that shit on me, man. God, I miss concerts. The WebP video was rushed. If I were to rank all of my videos up to this point, WebP would definitely be at the bottom. Not that I think it's a bad video, but it's one I felt like I had to make since my last upload was all the way back in January. But because of that, there was a lot of stuff I had to gloss over, as well as having to over-exaggerate a bit, because I was making a video about an internet file. I'm still satisfied with the final product, there's just more I wish I could have done. In debt. This shouldn't even be on the iceberg, it's a straight up fact. I have no money to my name, and you can thank art school for that. I know a few of you are gonna be like,
Oh, why not just start a Patreon?
First of all, shut up, and second of all, I take pride in the fact that I'm dirt poor. You know, you may scoff at the fact that I eat cornflakes for 3 meals a day, but when they get a bit soggy from sitting in the milk, oh my god do those things slap. Profile picture stolen. Hey guys, this is gonna be a tough one. Recently, I've been under fire for allegedly stealing my classic YouTube thumbnail from my friend Clay, and all I can really say is, sorry, that nobody held me accountable. I mean, honestly, none of my fans, or even Clay for that matter, attempted to stop me. They know I've done this multiple times in the past and will continue doing it in the future, simply because I haven't suffered any type of consequence. So can I really be put at fault here? I don't think so. Nintendo fanboy. You know, it's funny, this one actually has some truthfulness. Growing up, I used to be a Nintendo kid, which, although helped me blossom into a man-child, it didn't get me popularity points in middle school. I don't know if it was just me or the school I went to, but literally everyone had a burning hatred for Nintendo, causing little old me to be bullied relentlessly anytime I whipped out my 3DS on the bus. Granted, I wasn't much better, cause I had an ego complex and thought Xbox sucked cause it only had shooters. Nowadays, I've gotten much better at that, as the only games I play are Shovelware on Steam and Mother 1. No birthday. I forget my birthday at least once a week. I know I'm too old to go into the McDonald's play place, but I'm not old enough to justify living in Florida. Age is but a social construct, or whatever pedophiles say. Discord picture is his face. For the longest time, I used a picture of Josh Klinghoffer from my Discord profile. Not just because I like his music, but also he's looking down at the camera like he's getting a slightly disappointing blowjob. And the funniest part about it is after I started my server, a bunch of idiots thought that was actually me. Even when I outright told them who it was, this meme still went on and led to some of them doing those uncanny face capping videos. Alternate universes. This one's a little more out there than the rest of these entries. Basically, it suggests there are multiple different universes where my content changes depending on the one you're in. For example, there are some where I've heard I'm a professional Let's Player, a streamer, or worst of all, a commentary channel. It's a fun idea to entertain, but I know for a fact all of my alternate selves have the decency to never stoop that low. Controls people. Yeah, I've been known as quite the high-class manipulator. You know, I actually graduated from Yale with a degree in psychology, so I would say I'm pretty well-versed with the human mind. In all seriousness, it's not that hard to manipulate people, especially the ones that are a bit more, how do you say it, sheepish? Yes, the sheep, or sheeple if you will, have trouble thinking for themselves, which makes them the perfect test subjects for my experiments. Huge introvert. That's right, guys, I'm a huge introvert and I make it very apparent to everyone else. You know, you guys should follow me on Twitter. I like to draw quirky little comics of myself being super shy and introverted. And not to mention my coffee addiction, I can hardly get anything done without my 12 cups of coffee in the morning. What else am I gonna gonna do to get rid of the huge bags under my eyes. If this describes your personality in the slightest, you're a terrible person. Foot fetish. Ever since the art show, everyone's been under the assumption that I have a foot fetish after the last picture at the end. And yes, while it's objectively a well-drawn picture, I want you all to rest assured that I do not in fact have a foot fetish, okay? The last thing I want you all to think is that I get off to looking at other people's feet and imagining them aggressively stomping on my face as I take a huge waft of their odor. To think I would garner any form of pleasure from that is just absurd. And honestly, I'm quite offended you'd ever believe such an incorrect assumption. Watched hentai high. One time me and my friend Bobby were hanging out and thought, hey, let's smoke some grass. But then Bobby gets the craziest idea. Why not add a little more fuel to the fire? So we do the only logical thing and Google search some hentai. We found a video that had the words academia and tentacle in the title and instantly clicked on it. The details get a little foggy from there, but all I remember is the two of us laughing hysterically during a climax scene. I'd have Bobby come on to recollect, but sadly he's in jail right now for committing arson on a public library. Anyways, that's gonna do it for the Gourune Iceberg. I hope after all this you learned a little more useless information about your favorite YouTuber. Shoutouts again to Greg for making the original icebergs. He's a real cutie, and you should check out the videos he made about him as well. They're pretty unfunny, but their existence still strokes my ego nonetheless. Once again, iceberg videos were cool 5 months ago, but now they're oversaturated and boring. If you make one unironically, please reconsider your life choices.